Hey guys, how's it going? This is Twig387, and in this video, I'll be attempting a Pokémon Platinum Hardcore Nuzlocke using only mid-stage evolutions. By mid-stage, I'm referring to the second evolution in a 3-stage evolution plan. Gen 4 introduced many new third-stage evolutions to already existing Pokémon, which is why this challenge seems suitable. Their introduction was controversial to some, so in this challenge, I'll be testing whether these mid-stage evolutions can be considered redundant or not. In short, the rules for my definition of a Hardcore Nuzlocke are as follows. If a Pokemon faints, it can't be used anymore and must be boxed. Set mode must always be turned on. No in-battle items, but held items are okay. I can only catch the first encounter with a mid-stage evolution per route, and no leveling past the following gym leader's ace Pokemon. Also, I'm playing with the extended species clause, meaning duplicate encounters are prohibited, including those of the same evolutionary family. On screen are all viable encounters in this run, and as you can see, there are plenty of options. Because of the large variety of encounters, I do get a lot of coverage compared to, for instance, a monotype Nuzlocke, but unfortunately, that's all I've got going for me. I'd expect the challenge to be relatively easy to start off with, since the NPCs only have weaker Pokemon in the beginning, but as the game progresses, everything gets a lot harder, since I'm limited to mediocre Pokemon for the entire run. That being said, I'm very much worried for the Elite Four. Before this attempt, I had 3 unsuccessful attempts where I wiped early and therefore didn't include them. I named myself Twig, and my rival Dad, so without any further ado, let's get into this. Apparently Dad left in a hurry, something about going to get milk. Anyway, Professor Rowan then offers me a Pokemon, and so I pick Chimchar, since he's the only starter that evolves without surpassing the first level cap. I name him Kyle, and subsequently I catch a Starly, which also evolves into a Staravia before the first gym. I name her Steve. I then head over to Orbrick City, where I catch a Machop, who I name Dwayne. After leveling up my team to the level cap, I challenge Rourke with my newly evolved Kyle the Monferno and Steve the Staravia. My plan was simply to Mach Punch Rourke's whole team to the moon, which worked. Kyle doesn't one-shot Cranidos, but Cranidos just goes for Leer, so I'm able to take him out on the next turn despite him healing. With Rourke defeated, I catch a Shinx and name her Simba. Unfortunately, Simba has the ability Rivalry, which ups attacks against Pokemon of the same gender, but lowers attacks against Pokemon of the opposite gender. Additionally, Simba is a female, which sucks, because most of the gym leader's Pokemon are male. Intimidate would have been a lot better. Anyway, after Simba evolves into a Luxio, I head over to Floroma Town where I have to face Commander Mars. I just head into the fight without thinking too much, which turns out to be a mistake. I accidentally lead with Kyle, and for safety's sake, I switch him out for Simba, who then takes out her Zubat. I switch back to Kyle when Perugly comes out, and Kyle is then able to take out Perugly with a few Mach Punches. This wasn't too risky, but I'll admit, the fight was poorly handled. After dealing with Mars, I catch a Ghastly that I name Harry, and a Zubat that I name Zack with 2 C's. When Zack then evolves, he actually turns into a formidable Pokemon, with a base stat total of 455. Also, he's relatively fast, which will come in handy for sure. After grinding my team up to the level cap, I challenge Gardenia. I also make sure to get the TM for Pluck, which I give to Steve. This is great, because it means I can steal Roserade Citrus Berry and consume it myself, regaining health. As a result, Steve just sweeps the floor with Gardenia's team. After dealing with Gardenia, I head to the Team Galactic building in Eterna City to take out Commander Jupiter, who for some reason kidnapped a bike shop owner. Oh wait, never mind, apparently he's there to challenge her or something. Anyway, I do the job for him. I lead with Simba, taking out her Zubats. She then sends out Skuntank. I try to play it safe, so I switch out Simba, but after he gets poisoned, I bring out Kyle to finish the job. I receive a bike from the bike shop owner and head over to Hardcore City, but on the way there, I battle a hiker with a Geodude for XP when this happened. You never got to show your full potential, or Dwayne. After that heartbreaking loss, I catch a Gible in Wayward Cave and name her Gabby. I then make sure to level up Gabby and Harry so they evolve into Gabite and Haunter. With my team leveled up, I take on Fantina. This fight is tough because of her Mismagius. It hits like a truck with Shadow Ball and can hit half my team for super effective. Additionally, I don't really have any great counters for it. It's at this point in the game where the Nuzlocke becomes somewhat challenging, since the NPCs actually have decent Pokemon. I lead with Zac, who is able to take out her Duskull without too much trouble. She then sends out her Miss Magius. I switch into Gabite as she lands a Confuse Ray. I'm very vulnerable to a critical hit and generally in a very bad situation, but I have to risk it. I press Dragon Rage because it's the only attack that'll do decent damage, and I connect. I decide to switch into Simba, but, well, this turns out to be a bad move as her Shadow Ball does a lot of damage. I realize I have to switch out here, and I'm pretty sure Miss Magius will go for another Shadow Ball, so I switch out to Steve, who is able to get off a pluck on the Miss Magius. I know the Miss Magius won't go for another Shadow Ball since Steve is immune, so I switch into Harry. According to damage calculations, Harry should be able to tank one Psybeam unless it crits, so I pray it doesn't. Whew! I then go for a Sucker Punch, hoping she won't go for a Confuse Ray, and luckily I connect and take the Miss Magius down. The remaining Hunter comes out, so I send out Kyle. Kyle goes for Flame Will, which does decent damage. I press Flame Will once again the next turn, which takes out the Hunter. That was not great for my nerves. On my way to Veilstone, I catch a Duskull and name her Scully. Dusclops is a very bulky Pokemon, and will definitely be useful later on. In Veilstone, I also get a Porygon, who I name Quack. I immediately evolve him, and if you didn't know, Porygon 2 has a base stat total of 515, which is amazing for a mid-stage evolution. This will for sure be a crucial member of the team later on. Finally, I catch a Rhyhorn named Ryan. Rhydon has a ridiculous attack stat and gets access to some great moves later on. After some heavy XP grinding, I take on Maylene. I lead with Harry, who is able to take out her Meditite in one hit. The Machoke comes out, and I land a Confuse Ray. I get lucky as the Machoke hurts himself, and Harry is eventually able to get Machoke to quite low health. Here I expect Maylene to heal, and so I switch out to Monferno because I wanted him out for Lucario, but she doesn't. It's fine though, since Machoke only damages by a small amount. I take out the Machoke with a Mach Punch, and out comes the Lucario. Lucario goes for a Drain Punch, and... of course, that sucks. He was with us from the start. I probably have some of the worst luck when it comes to critical hits. I send out Gabby, who is able to deal some damage using Dragon Rage, but after another heavy Drain Punch, I have to send out Harry to confuse Lucario. At this point, I just have to hope for some RNG luck, but that doesn't happen. Lucario goes for a Metal Claw, and oh my god, that was too close for comfort. I send out Simba, and luckily Lucario hits himself twice. Finally some luck on my side. I'm then able to take out Lucario with a Spark, but at what cost? Rest easy, Kyle. After a poorly handled close call, I head over to Pastoria City, where I do some further XP grinding. As you might have noticed already, some of the clips I recorded got corrupted and couldn't be included in the video. Among these clips was the fight against Pressure Wake, so instead I'll just narrate my strategy. Trust me, I'm not happy about this either. After doing some research, I realize I can catch a Pikachu in Mr. Backlot's Trophy Garden. On the surface, Pikachu seems like a frail Pokemon with a measly base stat total of 320. And, well, you're right, he is. But he's actually perfect for Wake because he's quite effective against Gyarados, has access to Grass Knot against Quagsire, and is faster than both of them. I lead with Pikachu, who was able to take out Gyarados with one Thunderbolt. He sends out Quagsire, who I immediately bring down to low health with a Grass Knot. Pikachu then tanks a Mudshot like an absolute Chad, after which Wake then heals his Quagsire, but I go for another Grass Knot, which again brings him to low health. I finish off the Quagsire, and Wake then sends out his Floatzel. I have to sack Pikachu here so I can safely send out Simba. Thank you, Pikachu, you served your purpose well. Simba then takes out the Floatzel with 2 Thunderfangs, earning me the badge. I then have to go through some plot, including some of the Team Galactic shenanigans, and an errand for Cynthia. I get access to Surf, so I head over to Fuego Ironworks where I catch a Magmar that I name Maggie. This is huge, since she replaces Cal's fire typing, and is just a great Pokemon. I then head over to Catalave where I challenge Byron. Byron isn't too much of a threat to my team, so I'm feeling pretty confident. I lead with Gabby, taking out Byron's Magneton in one hit. He then sent out Steelix, forcing me to switch out because it has Ice Fang. I then slowly but surely wear down the Steelix using Quack and Harry, since both are special attackers and Steelix has next to no special defense. After some Confuse Rays, Shadow Balls, and Psybeams, the Steelix goes down. Bastiodon then comes out, so I switch into Gabby. Bastiodon can't do much against Gabby, so I just take it out with some Earthquakes. I then have to go through some Team Galactic plot again, having to fight Mars and Saturn. I dodged some close calls, but eventually I'm told to head up north. I make my way through Route 217, and eventually I make it to Snowpoint City. I also make sure to evolve Ryan into a Rhydon, since that'll be very useful later on. After that, I head to Candace's gym. Maggie should be able to OHKO all of her Pokemon, so I just head straight into the fight. Here's a short clip of her just obliterating Gym Leader Candace's team. Candace, Magmar, be stopped. Sorry. I head back to Lake Acuity to watch Dad having an identity crisis. Poor guy. Anyway, I make my way to Veilstone City, where the Team Galactic HQ is located. There, I take on Cyrus, who isn't too much of a challenge this time around. Cyrus's team is very prone to electric types, so Simba and Quack do a good job in taking him out, along with Ryan as a backup. But this is just an appetizer of what is to come though. After that, I take on Commander Saturn. I lead with Quack so I can take out his Golbat with Thunderbolt, but he then sends out his Toxicroak. I eagerly press Psybeam since it's quite effective, and sheesh, that was close. I take out the Toxicroak, and Maggie easily deals with the remaining Bronzor. I head over to Mount Coronet after doing some heavy prepping for the notorious Cyrus fight. But before taking on Cyrus, I take care of Commander Mars and Jupiter together with Dad. I lead with Maggie to take out both Bronzors first, as Dad's Munchlax absorbs most of the damage dealt. Thanks, Dad. The two commanders send out their signature Purugly and Skuntank, so I send out Ryan as he counters both of them. I use Earthquake twice to effectively take out both the Purugly and the Skuntank. To finish it off, I send out Simba to deal with the two remaining Golbats. After I beat his subordinates, the blue-haired sociopath summons the devil who gets mad and jump-scares him back to hell. I follow him and make my way through the distortion world. The Cyrus fight ahead of me is known to be severely difficult, which is why I've sat down for hours trying to formulate a strategy that won't end my run. With everything ready, I challenge the exasperated Edgelord. I lead with Ryan and go for Earthquake, which takes out the Houndoom in one blow. He then sends out his Gyarados, and I accidentally switch into Steve. I realize what I have to do and go for Breakbird. Poor Steve, you deserve better. I then do what I initially intended and send out Quack. He takes out Gyarados with one Thunderbolt. Cyrus then sends out his Honchkrow, and I go for another Thunderbolt, which almost takes it out. Cyrus heals, but I go for another Thunderbolt and take him out on the following turn. Weavile comes out and goes for Fake Out, which takes me to about half health. I decide to stay in, even though I planned on switching out, which in hindsight was reckless, but nevertheless, I recover twice and go for a Signal Beam, realizing that I had to switch out after all. I send out Maggie as Cyrus goes for an Ice Punch, followed by a Night Slash that does a surprising amount of damage, and also gives me a Heart Attack. I counter with a Flamethrower that takes out the Weavile. He then sends out his Crobat, and I switch into Simba. In retrospect, this was a stupid play, since Ryan could easily have tanked any of Crobat's attacks. This stupid move results in Simba's demise. Simba wasn't perfect, but he was a friend. I then send out Ryan to take care of the Crobat with a Stone Edge. With Cyrus defeated, the angry emo throws a tantrum and leaves, as I go to face Giratina. I don't want to take any unnecessary risks, so I run away like a little coward. After that experience, I head to Sunyshore City, but on my way there, I catch an Electabuzz, who I name Lightyear. He'll be a worthy replacement for Simba. With half my team over the level cap, I challenge Volkner, who claims to be the strongest gym leader in Sinnoh, but that didn't stop Gabby from sweeping his team in under a minute. The only thing ahead of me now is the Pokemon League. I've been dreading this moment since the start of this run, and so I head to the drawing board for a couple of days trying to figure something out. I make sure to grind everyone up to the level cap, and I decide to take Scully the now Dusclops onto the team, as I'm missing someone who can take a few hits. I head into the league after grinding for ages and challenge Aaron. I lead with Lightyear to take out Yanmega, after which he sends out his Heracross. I press Thunderbolt, which does big damage, but he counters with a Stone Edge. He then crits. This game gives me heart attacks. Lightyear finishes off his Heracross as he sends out Vespiquen, who I also one-shot with a Thunderbolt. Aaron then sends out his Caesar, so I switch into Maggie. After taking small damage to an X-Scissor, I take out the Caesar with a Flamethrower, and Aaron's Drapion then suffers the same fate, which earns me the first win. I then head over to the next room and challenge Bertha. I lead with Scully so that I can burn the Whiskash and safely send out Quack, whom I equipped with Choice Specs and taught Ice Beam. I just start sweeping with Quack, effectively taking out her Whiskash, Gliscor, and Hippowdon. Bertha then sends out Golem, who I expect to take out as well. Unfortunately, things don't go to plan because I hadn't taken the special defense boost that rock types get in a Sandstorm into account when planning the fight. It's not all too bad though, since I just send out Gabby and go for Earthquake, which deals big damage. And on the following turn, Gabby takes out Golem. Bertha then sends out her ace, Rhyperior, so I switch into Scully, who I know can take some hits. Scully burns the Rhyperior, more or less rendering him useless. Next, I send out Ryan. This is it, the fight of the evolutions. Can the underdog come out on top? The answer is yes, because Ryan is an absolute beast. Who needs evolutions anyways? Next I take on Flint, but like his friend Volkner, he falls victim to Gabby and her merciless Earthquake. Gabby sets up Stealth Rock to ensure the sweep. After that she just flies through Flint's team in seconds, taking out Pokemon after Pokemon. It's beautiful. Before challenging the league, I made sure to bring along some TMs, specifically Rock Polish and Swords Dance. I teach them to Ryan as he leads against Lucian. Lucian is a Mr. Mime that almost always goes for both Light Screen and Reflects. I use this to set up Rock Polish twice in order to outspeed his Alakazam, and Swords Dance once. Mr. Mime now goes for a Psychic, which could have been lethal if he crits. Luckily he doesn't though, and Ryan starts rampaging through Lucian's team. Bronzong is somewhat of a threat, since he has the ability to Levitate, meaning I can't one-shot him with Earthquake. But luckily he goes for the brilliant move of using Calm Mind, allowing me to take him out. The rest of Lucian's team don't stand a chance. I head into the final room where Cynthia, the Grim Reaper of Nuzlocke, awaits me. I give Ryan a Metronome, an item which boosts the power of a move by 10% each consecutive turn the move is used. Cynthia leads with a Spiritomb, which isn't particularly offensive, which gives Ryan the opportunity to set up Rock Polish and Swords Dance. He then proceeds to absolutely annihilate half of Cynthia's team. In retrospect, I should have gone for Earthquake against Roserade, but in the moment I guess I got excited. This would have allowed the Metronome to take effect, and would have allowed Ryan to continue sweeping. Despite this, Ryan did an amazing job, and is definitely the MVP of this run. The Garchomp survives Ryan's rampage, and manages to take Ryan out. For some reason I sent out Maggie next, which was a bad move, as Psychic left Garchomp on a sliver of health. Garchomp mercilessly takes out Maggie. What an unnecessary death. I come to my senses and send out Scully, who is able to burn the Garchomp and get off a Trick Room before she too is taken out. Quack then comes out and finally finishes the Garchomp off with an Ice Beam. Cynthia sends out Togekiss, and I go for Ice Beam, expecting to head first due to Trick Room, but I don't. Can someone explain why? Because Togekiss supposedly outspeeds Quack by 20 points, yet somehow Togekiss outspeeds, even though Trick Room is activated. Togekiss then takes out Quack, though at this point it doesn't matter, as Lightyear is then able to take out Togekiss with a Thunderbolt. Cynthia sends out her last Pokemon, Milotic. Lightyear goes for a Thunderbolt, which deals plenty of damage. Milotic then however takes out Lightyear with a Mirror Coat. What a dirty play. It's fine though, since Gabby can finish off Milotic with an Earthquake, winning us the run. This challenge was a lot of fun. Even though I made some avoidable errors, I really grew to enjoy playing with this team. Every one of my teammates got to show off their strength, and made the challenge that much more fun to me. This was the first Nuzlocke I've ever recorded and edited, so I apologize if it was a little rougher on the edges. I'll work on that in future playthroughs. That said, if you enjoyed the video and would be interested in seeing more content like this, consider liking and subscribing. Also, remember to check me out on Twitch at Twig387 to get an early view on future challenges. This challenge was also streamed there. You can also check out our Discord and the link in the description, where you can chat with us and other community members about Nuzlockes or Pokemon in general. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.